Today's Toy Spot, we are finally having a look at the Marvel Legends Marvel Sandman wave as we have looked today at Build-A-Figure Sandman. And once again, Spot just needs to correct some of the joints here. With the weight of the shoulders and the fact that I didn't completely plug these into place, obviously I've got some of the arms popping off, but let's have a look at the Build-A-Figure Sandman now completely assembled. Now, over the course of these videos, we built Sandman intact, and we got ourselves a couple of little extra bonuses here as well. The default hands gave us a closed fist, as you can see right here, the other one being a completely grabbing hand, which is a nice touch. But if you also picked up the black costume of Spider-Man, you got yourself this really nice sculpted mace and cinder block hammer. It's not quite cinder block, but it's a sand block hammer there. One of the other things that also included with Sandman is an interchangeable head. Again, for me speaking, and solely my opinion, you know, everybody's entitled to their opinion, I don't like this head. I really don't. It's okay if, you know, you've got him in a dynamic pose. Maybe Spider-Man's just kind of, you know, kicked him. You could kind of have him leaning back as if he just got kicked in the side of the head, or, you know, maybe he got shot in the side of the head or something, where it looks like he's now, you know, you see the visible sand damage to his face. For me, though, generally, I like a defaulted human face on Sandman, and then if anything, have swappable or the more noticeable hands being my go-to areas of sand. Let's have a look at his face, which looks glorious. Love his face. Now, if you remember the opener video, when we looked at the torso, I mentioned I don't like the little veins that they put into his torso. Truthfully speaking, I still don't like that. Doesn't make any sense to me, really. The veins in his neck make sense, especially for the expression that he's got on his face, but this just seems like random veins. Let's just throw some veins across his torso for absolutely no reason whatsoever. I get it, he's a muscular character, but to have just these obscure, just random things sculpted in there make absolutely no sense. This should have just been smoother, and if anything, had only the veins in his neck. Sandman uses his tried and true costume. I guess if he's made out of sand, he could really just change his costume into anything, but he always goes back to the dark green, light green striped shirt, the brown slacks, and his black belt there, which actually is a loose piece. It's a loose, separate piece. And then again, his black shiny boots. There's the back of the figure. Very, very, very nicely. Coloring is good on him too. Like the face, good darker flesh tone, not too pale, not sickly. Love also how the sand transitions itself from the big blocky appliance on the end, whether it be his fist or in this case the mace. Then you've got the coarser sand here, and then as it gets to the closer bicep area, you can see how it transitions once again. Little bit of that lighter brown shading there, or paint that's been added, so it looks like it's transitioning itself into his striped shirt. Very nicely done. Now, you could say like the arms are a little excessively large, like they're very long, but it doesn't really bother me all that much. I suppose maybe they could have given us the options of smaller arms, like more conventional arms that look sandy. But I mean, displaying Sandman for me, I would go all out, displaying him with big, you know, Spider-Man clubbing fists, or in this case, the mace. Mace in your face looks okay with me. For a scale comparison, by the way, and for this, we want to actually stand him up. There we go. And I know I didn't get all the joints completely tight. I'm going to have to tighten those up after the fact. But scale comparison, let's put him next to Spider-Man 2099. God, I dislike that figure. Put him next to Spider-Man 2099. You can see how much taller Sandman is against Spider-Man 2099. So he's a good size. He's worthy of a Build-A-Figure. He's not just some let's throw a Jubilee or a Hit Monkey in there. At least he's a notable size. It makes some sense. You know, that makes perfect sense for me. When it comes to Sandman's Poseability, let's go through this together. Head rotates all the way around. It's a nice ball joint going on there. I don't like how big the ball joint had to be, though, the socket for at least changing out the heads. But I never will display him with this head, so, I mean, it doesn't bother me all that much. It's on there. It's not going anywhere. I suppose I can't really say the same for the arms. The arms, I've tried locking them into place. They pop out. I mean, I guess I really truthfully haven't given them the full college try of forcing them in there. But the arms do rotate all the way around. You will have some excessive heaviness from the additional weight of the plastic in the forearms that may hinder a little bit of getting those plugged in completely. I understand, though, no comments necessary, that I could apply simply more pressure to the arms to get them in place. But we're looking at the figure as is. You know, in that case, I just got to apply a little bit more pressure to get everything kind of in place. He has a bend at the elbow. In this case, he does rotate at the mace portion of it, but it would be the same for the fists as well. This hand, the hand does rotate, a hinge up and down. He has the upper torso crunch. He has a waist swivel. And there goes the arms again. Forward and back motion on the legs, although it's got that weird pivot, or that weird thing where you got to swivel the leg forward to hinge him forward, swivel the leg out to hinge the leg out. I don't like that, but not much we can really do about it, unfortunately. He has a swivel in the leg portion, double hinge on the knee, and not really an ankle, well, a little bit of an ankle pivot, a hinge up and down on the legs. Again, just applying all it. It's funny when we have a look at the larger figures, I can always get the joints all into place, but smaller figures that use the smaller pegs, I struggle a little bit from time to time getting those all in place, but I'm going to force those all in after this review and get this guy all ready to go. So there, in a nutshell, my friends, is Marvel Legends Sandman. An exceptional wonder of plastic. Love the mix and matching of the hands, even though I can't. Again, the arms can be a little bit more difficult to get completely in place, but all around, a great looking figure. I guess really the only one I can compare this guy to is there was the other Sandman figure from the Spider-Man Classics line. I don't have that figure, unfortunately, anymore. I've long since sold him. But if I could compare that figure to this figure just by memory, and I could go back and watch the review of him, I like this figure a lot more. The coloring is a little bit more vibrant. You know, the other figure had its merits, but I figure as a whole, I think I like this figure a little bit more. But there is Sandman, one of the best, honestly speaking, one of the best Build-A-Figures that we've gotten in recent memory, especially incorporating these extra little components. Win-win. I mean, I think Hasbro has done a service to this guy. So there you go. Now again, as we always do on this channel, as we have a look already at the Build-A-Figure, then we're going to have a look at the top figures from this line. Now this is going to be an interesting one, because some might surprise, but we're going to look at the top favorite figures from this line. The first figure that I would say, personally speaking, I would have said Black Costume Spider-Man. That seemed like a no-brainer to me, you know, as my favorite figure from this wave. But I mean, really, the figure doesn't have a lot of interesting bells and whistles to him. He's a very neutral black costume, using the same body. There's nothing really much that they've added to it. So I do like the figure, but I don't know if I would say it's of my top favorites. I will say, though, this guy right here would be at least of the top three. Jackal. Great sculpt. Like the face sculpt, a very sinister looking face. And the third one, so I guess really I would say Jackal #1, from just a fondness of Black Costume Spider-Man. I would say Spider-Man #2. And I really wanted to say Green Goblin was #3. In my heart of hearts, I really want to say this guy was my third favorite figure from this wave. Again, I just don't like the paint. The paint is way, way too dark. So I would almost say he's a tie with this one right here. And you're saying Ms. Marvel. Spot Miss Marvel? Really? You're going to go with this one? Paint's good. I like the interchangeable hands, and the face is actually quite pretty. So I would tie her almost with third with Green Goblin here. This could potentially make or break viewers' opinions of me, but I would say these are my 3 favorite figures from this wave. I can tell you my least favorite figure, even if the top 3 are debatable. My least favorite figure is Spider-Man 99. Just a terrible, good figure based on a terrible costume design, in my own honest opinion. So there you go, guys. That wraps up. We're like closing up shop now. Shopkeep can go home for the day. Those are my top 3 favorite figures, or dare I say almost 4 figures, a tie for 3. Those are my favorite figures from this wave. This was also the Build-A-Figure review, or the review of the Build-A-Figure of Sandman. Despite being able not to get the arms in quite in place for this purpose of this review, still a fantastic figure. And if you get a chance, even if you don't like these other figures, and you like Sandman, I would say this is a figure, at least try to find him on eBay in his fully built form. You won't be disappointed. Today, again, we were looking at the Build-A-Figure of Sandman, and certainly, again, that wraps up everything for this series of reviews for the Marvel Legends Sandman wave. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, as you always do, and I'll see you guys next time.